I need a
office.
Chinese excavator for rent.
Ooh, I've got
Know anyone?
3 left. I sold
What
one
Three?
is?
yesterday, actually.
Joking. I've bought
Oh,
too many pieces of equipment. I'm maxed out this year.
Maxed out for the year.
Are you buying the
How
SL
have the
SCL 1000?
No, so I gave that one up to. Originally, it was supposed to go to my partner, and then he passed on it. And he's like, "If you want it, it's yours." And I told him, like, "Why don't you buy this? Like, ours goes out every day. Like, the guys are happy to have it and everything." And like, I talked it up so much. He's like, "No, I don't want it." So the dealer called me and asked me if I wanted it. I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." Then my partner called me on Monday and he says, "You know what? I was thinking about what you were saying." He's like, "If you don't want it, I'll take it." I said, "Just take it." So
what is it?
The Kubota
that
SCL, basically
Kubota little
Oh,
track
yeah.
loader there. So we're gonna let him have it, and I might buy a new backhoe or something, just because
And
ours is getting kind of rotten, old and rotten. So no time like now to trade it in.
Are
yeah,
you
no,
seeing
we like
equipment
ours.
going down in price?
Sad.
That
Are you seeing equipment become more available or down in price on the Canada
More
side?
available, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
more available, but I don't think the price has gone down yet.
No. Like I was getting my machines that I had ordered a year and a half ago, like a couple months early. So they're definitely more available.
My
Yeah.
what's
Do you think that
S
someone else ordered those machines and then said, I don't want them anymore, and then they
Well,
became
that's how
available
I
to you?
got the SCL
Yeah. It's
because of
how
the
you would.
whole other manufacturer issue
Yeah.
that I talked to you about.
Yes.
But yeah, so basically I just called and he said, I don't know if this guy's going to take it. Let me call and see if he'll back out. And within 48 hours, he had backed out. I got the machine.
How do you like it?
It's sensitive. I haven't operated it much because I'm the office bitch. So, but I've operated it a bit, like not a lot, but yeah, it's sensitive. But I think that's just new machine, right? It's tight.
I felt like my Kubota skid steer was sensitive too when I first drove it.
What is it,
So
the
maybe that's a
75 or the
Kubota thing.
95?
Like an
70,
SVL.
75. Yeah, 75.
Oh, I love our SVL 75.
Yeah,
I've
I do too.
ran 595s, and,
uh,
450s, like yeah, but like other manufacturers. But yeah, I love our SVL. I love our rental, and we got our new ones ready to pick up. So our replacement for our stolen machines. So
so did insurance comp you on that?
turn in.
Did insurance end up paying you
Yeah,
out for? Yeah,
yeah, full
made
payment.
it work.
Yeah,
Right
and
on.
they covered my rental for 4 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So but the new machine is because they don't make the SVL 75s -2s anymore. They only make the -3s.
Yeah.
So of course
Oh.
it travels a little bit faster, lifts a tiny bit more, and has a backup camera, which for residential landscaping I need none of. And it's $10,000 more.
Mine was supposed to come in May and then or March and then May, and now it's June and it's supposed to be in tomorrow, but I'm not holding my breath.
That's Kubota.
Yeah.
They're fucking awesome.
What is
Mine was
it?
supposed to be August, and it's been available since Wednesday. But I'm paying for the full month of my rental, so I'm just gonna pick it up on Monday.
Hmm.
Or not paying, but Kubota, or sorry, my
Yeah.
insurance is paying for it. So
Yeah.
I'm just picking it up on Monday. But it was supposed to be in August, and I have it now.
And mine
Everything I've
3 months
ordered
late.
from Kubota is early.
Hmm.
Awesome.
We had an interesting week because we're attempting to lease back our own machine. So we have an 8-ton Kubota excavator that's worth $80,000, and we need the cash flow more than we need $80,000 sitting in the excavator. But we like the excavator, and Jordan had it. It's a really good excavator. It's got nothing wrong with it. So we were like, well, fuck it. We'll just lease it back to ourselves. But that process has been an atrocious process, a crazily hard process that I thought this would be pretty easy because hey, we already paid for it once. Probably going to pay for it again. I feel like we have a good reference because we own it. But it's not a good enough reference, apparently. And so one of the lenders recommend that we sell it and buy a different machine, and then they'll give us the money. I'm like, but we already have this one, and it's good. And you have a written statement from our mechanic signing off that maintains this piece of equipment saying it's good. And we don't want to sell it because we think it's a very good machine and we want to keep it. And we couldn't buy a better machine for 80 grand. So we're just going to buy it off ourselves. We just want, like, I honestly thought this would be a pretty easy process because obviously I'm not the first person who thought of this. I'm not smart enough. Someone else told me, hey, you should, if you own that thing outright, you should just lease it back to yourself. Then you can get all your money. And I was like, oh, that seems pretty smart. Someone smarter than me told me to do it. So I should probably do that. But now everyone treats you like you're a fucking criminal. I'm like, I don't get it. We own this. We have a bill of sale. We paid cash for it. Like, we paid cash for it when we bought it or got it. I guess we didn't really, we got it, but we paid cash for it. Like, it was crazy that we're getting such a hard time, but it's been a.
But can't you send the machine to work for $2,000 a day and just make that every day with it? That is clear now that you don't have payments? Or am I missing something, some part of
Whoa,
this?
whoa. $2,000.
I'd send out an 8-ton shovel with a tilt rotator at $2,000 a day.
That's not
I don't have a tilt rotator. I'm a skilled enough
Well, put
operator
the
to
tilt
not need one.
rotator. Okay.
I don't need one. I'm skilled. I'm okay. I can accomplish a lot with an excavator without a spinny $40,000 item on it.
Not enough to make your $2,000 a day.
Well, but it's still, this is not Mike's advice of financial advice. So no one take it.
Is this the Caleb's Corner?
No, because this is not maybe got good advice. This is potentially horrible advice. And we've already talked about how I do not want to get involved in people's finances. But there's an argument that everything you own in your yard that you own outright, Chad, is depreciating and you're not getting your money out of it. And you'd be better to lease it back to yourself and have all your fucking money. I had talked to a whole bunch of people about this before I did it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people out there smarter than me and smarter with money and all this shit, but I think I'm doing okay. I'm gonna try not to lease my shit back to myself.
Yeah, I really don't understand how this works.
Sorry?
I don't understand how this all works. How do you lease it back to yourself?
You sell it to the leasing company and they send you the money. And then you pay them back.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, so you're selling it to a leasing company. You're not personally.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, Chad's been in business for 12 years and I've been in business for 4. So when we're in business for 12 years, maybe we won't need access to $80,000 in cash. But after being in business for 4 years, we need access to $80,000 in cash. So this was a way to get access to $80,000 in cash that we can pay out at any time.
Your growing pains were much more severe than mine, right? In 4 years, you've gone to a business that's twice the size of mine, where it's taken me 3 times as long to do half of that, right?
Yeah, but I still, in year 12, would like to not have to lease things. I'm not saying this is my optimal thing to do. I'm saying that when I talk to everybody about needing to put cash flow into our business, this was an because we own 80% of the stuff that everyone sees on Instagram, we own outright. There's only truck we owe money on is the brand new blue one. All the floats, we have 17 bins. All that stuff we paid cash for. So I think that we paid cash for so much stuff, we made our business cash poor as well. But on the flip side of that, if we didn't have the lawsuit going on, I probably wouldn't even be fucking having this conversation with you. So, currently we're out $210,000 from last year. So yeah, I think that this was I don't think it's not my preference either, but it was the easiest way to, I conceived it to be an easy way because we already owned it. Hey, we already own this. Hey, we already paid for it once. I feel like that should be a pretty good referral that we'll probably pay for it again.
What's the rate though that you're Gonna
Uh,
lose out on like, are you losing out on another 10% of your
oh
money
yeah,
or
it's at
what's
least 10.
yikes? And
It
that's
depends.
But
still
you were like owning the equipment and leasing it to your business. Like there's a lot of models of that happening in our area where owners will start a leasing company and lease 3 Peterbilts back to their
Yeah.
business, or own the building and lease it back to their business
Yeah.
to bring cash flow into a leasing company that may have less a tax bracket or ability to write it off. I never heard this model where you could sell a piece of equipment to a company that would then lease it back to you. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this is me talking to a lot of people saying, "Hey, I need to create cash flow. What should I do?" And
Yeah, that's
I know a lot. Like I know a lot of the trucking companies. After 5 years, when the trucks are paid off, they lease them back. They find companies to buy them and lease them back because the value is so high in the trucks, and they want all their money out of the trucks. Like if you have 6 trucks, they're still worth 200 grand when you're after 5 years. You can get $1.2 million out of your business. And your business is already established so it can afford to make those payments. But you're now taking out $1.2 million out of the business.
yeah.
There's a whole bunch of trucking companies that do it. Me doing it with an excavator is maybe unique, but I don't. It's
There's
people
tax
trying.
benefits to running off leases opposed to like a finance, right? Like your lease, you can write off every single year, right?
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
for instance, like our Kubota or whatever is a lease to own, like or every piece we're recently buying, it's $1 buy it.
Yeah.
So I'm technically leasing it, but I'm financing. It's a lease, right?
but-
So
What I find interesting is that if I said we were leasing a brand new 8-ton from Kubota, everyone would be like, "Fuck yeah, you're killing it! Go for it, man! That's fucking amazing." When I say to people, I'm withdrawing my $80,000 out of my business for me and leasing my equipment back that I know I can make the monthly payment on, everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, if it was a brand new machine, or if I was buying it from one of these used equipment rental yards, people would be like, fucking look at that motherfucker go!
Yeah.
He's so successful."
200
When
or
he's like-
180,000.
But when I'm saying I have $80,000 tied up in this excavator, and I think I could make better use of it in my business. People are like, "Why the fuck would you do that? That's insane." I'm like, "Well, I need $80,000 to make some moves in my business that are going to generate massive profit. Like that's why I need 80 grand. Like I don't. Well, maybe they won't make any profit at all, but we have a couple of things that would I think turn a corner for us, and a couple of things we're trying to do, and I need that 80 grand to buy those things, or buy at least one of them, and not get divorced and live in a parking lot. But this process has been extremely hard. And I thought it would be fairly easy because we had already paying for something once reached no benefits when you try to pay for it again.
And that's the Caleb's corner.
And that's a Caleb's. Do one of you guys want to do Caleb's corner? You guys listen to Caleb?
I know what Caleb's corner is.
You don't know what Caleb's corner is?
Caleb's
Mm-mm.
Corner is a
I
segment
know what it is.
on the
Oh.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast where we drop actual value. It's the one part in this podcast where you can expect value. So maybe one of the guests wants to bless us with a Caleb's Corner for this episode.
Actual value, but it has to be something of actual
Sounds
value.
like you got some value to throw around here.
Who's that now?
That's you.
Some value? I don't know. I once sought out a landscaper who was doing 8-month leases on equipment and turning them back in the fall. Then he would lose all his, I don't know if this is popular in Canada too, but like you get usually like 80% of your rental towards the purchase of a machine. I don't know if that works. Same thing in Canada, but yeah. So like if you rented a Harley rig for 6-8 months, then they give you 80% of your rental toward the purchase price of the machine if you just want to buy it.
Wow.
So I would seek out landscapers who were renting and then not buying it, buy it for them, and then rent them to them next year and cut out the rental company. Was another avenue of exploiting people.
And you should.
I love the honesty. That's unreal.
Like, hey, you're gonna pay for it anyways.
You have value to drop. That's the value.
So there's your value.
That's good value.
Another way to exploit.
So unreal. So you're renting bins, and now you're gonna start renting more machines, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna get out of landscape and start renting stuff. It's kind of nice. Who knows?
With machines.
I'm sure that it's wrought with disaster somewhere, like everything.
Maybe.
Everything that someone else is doing always seems really easy because they're doing it and I'm not. You know, I don't know, it just always feels that way to me that everything that someone else is doing, and I'm looking like, it looks super fucking easy. Well, it's not. Super fucking hard. That's why there's not a million people doing that. I like that advice though about the exploitation of people. That's certainly something that
just
would
for
go
this
down.
podcast. Just for
this podcast is definitely about exploiting people. Anyone who's listened to any episode of this, we have exploited their time.
But yeah, I got nothing for Caleb's corner. No, just exploitation. Sorry.
What's your Jordan? You got something?
No, I'm just saying. I feel like when this podcast ends, Durham region contractors are about to get a updated bin pricing and equipment rental documents.
Nick, what do you say? What's your Caleb's corner?
I think you've completely overestimated your expectations of what I might have in value. So sorry, I can't offer anything at this point.
I know that this week everyone was doing their advertising their 50% off Equip Expo codes.
Oh yeah.
In their notes. So I typed in, I can give you nothing off Equip Expo. And quite a few people responded to that, wondering what I could do for them. And I was like, it says nothing. I can do nothing for you. I have no discount code. I'm not associated with Equip Expo at all. I just wanted everyone to know that I could do nothing for them. So I put a note up saying, I can do nothing for you. And it just goes to show how well people read that shit. What can you do for me? I'm like, well, it says I can do nothing. So legit, I can do nothing. And, well, why the hell would you post that then? I'm like, why do I post anything? Legit commentary. What was the last time? I literally posted a thing this week that said, stop putting fucking garbage in the bins.
I had a lady come by the yard today, and she caught me at a bad time because I came flying into the yard. I was pissed off. She pulled in behind me, and she tried to convince me that I sold trees. She's like, you sell trees. I've been here 10 years ago. I came and you had big, beautiful trees. I'm like, I bought this place 5 years ago. I don't sell trees. She's like, well, yes, you do. You can dig the ones over there. And she points into the bush with fucking weeds as high as your tits. And I was just like, no, I can't sell you anything there. She's like, well, why not? I said, because I don't sell trees. She goes, well, I'm looking for a nice big willow. I said, well, I can't help you. She's like, but please, I don't know where else to go. I said, you shouldn't have came through the gate that says employees only beyond this point. And I was getting frustrated with her. And then she was asking for recommendations on different types of trees and everything. And I'm just like, listen, lady, I don't sell trees.
Is there no nurseries out by you?
There is. There's a incredible little garden center nursery thing 20 minutes away that you could have went to, but it's like they haven't been able to help me. I said, well, neither can I. I'm not a full service nursery. I'm a landscape contractor just trying to get my fucking ditching bucket so I can go dig out 10 yards of dirt that we put in the wrong spot.
You should have a self-serve tree farm there with a Chinese excavator. Hop on, help
Could
yourself.
you imagine
dig out how trees?
Leave your money there
Self-serve
in the Dropbox.
Leave the money in the Dropbox. So They would absolutely ruin my yard. They came in there with those little things. They'd be trying to pick one tree and they'd be killing the three next to them and stuff. And what a
I get a
nightmare.
lot
We
of
used
phone
to
calls. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
we used to grow trees on our property and sell them. And we had somebody come in and actually at night dig one up and take it.
Oh my
No.
god.
Hey.
Stole a tree.
Wow.
At that point, they kind of deserve it. I don't know. That's not,
Yeah, I feel like they might have earned that
Yeah,
tree.
really.
they might have earned
Do
it.
it by hand with a wheelbarrow, then it's all theirs.
I get a lot of people calling me and saying, well, I don't know how we're listed on Google, but I get a lot of people calling me looking to buy patio stones and pavers from us. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not a supply yard, but I need to buy patio stones from you. And I'm like, well, just like go to one of the local supply yards. I don't do that. I install them. Well, can't you sell them to me? I could, but that's not the business I'm in. Well, can you get them for me? No. Do you want me to install them? No, I'm doing it myself. It's just like, I'm like, can I get off the fucking phone with you? Like, go fuck
You-
yourself. Like,
You
Is
could
this
do
a
like
Durham
Mike
Region
has
thing?
and sell them from the front of the road.
I don't want to sell pat. Like, there's
Or
company.
or you could exploit them and go buy them and
Thank you.
install the pavers.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, hey, there's the boneyard. Like, go pick
This
out
is
what you
the-
want.
Yeah.
No.
The
And the
other-
service. I've
Well, you
had
can
people
carry
steal from the
500
boneyard,
bucks.
and I'm like, you kind of deserve it after hustling a whole pallet of brick by hand into your back of your truck. I'm like, good for
Yeah.
you. I was going to throw it away in 2 years anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Thank you for doing that.
It was
for
red.
me.
That's out of style now.
It's red. It's got its, the other thing that people constantly call me for is paving. Like,
Okay.
hey man, can you
Oh,
pave
You
my
did that
driveway?
one to yourself.
Well, I know, but then I say, I'm sorry, we're talking about interlocking pavers. They're like, but I need asphalt. I'm like, okay, great, but we don't do that. We do interlocking pavers. Like, but I need you to pave my driveway. And I'm like, I can't help you. And it's the same experience where I keep saying, I can't help you. You need to call like a paving company. Who should I call? I said, I don't know. Because if you call them and you don't like them, you're going to call me back and tell me that I recommended this person and that they're no good. And I don't want to talk to you ever again. So I'm going to tell you nothing except call a paving company. I already don't like you. So stop calling. Anyway, I get a lot of those. Those are the two phone calls I get a lot randomly.
Do you think you could dig, like hook up with a paving company and dig their base and put in the base and then just sub for them to come and roll asphalt?
Paving companies don't put in bases.
Well,
They
just
just
move
take
it around.
asphalt. They just take asphalt up and put down a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch of gravel and roll it.
I suppose.
People's expectations are so low. Like,
Really though, like I don't know. Have you ever seen a paving company come in and rip up an asphalt driveway and put down a 6 or 8 inch new base?
Not a new base, never a
No.
new base.
No, never.
we're doing a driveway surround now, and we're digging like 18 inches for the banding and across the front, and putting in geotextile, woven geotextile, and grid, and bugging up. And where the asphalt is, we're gonna peel it up and then fucking spread it around and pack it. I'm like, this is kind of fucked up, really. Like, it's a little bit fucked up. Like, it honestly it is, but it's what
Your
like
borders probably cost more than the asphalt.
oh yeah, way more because it's
So,
excavated and dug. Like it's, but you watch it and I'm like, well, am I fucking something up here? Like, should I just be peeling up the asphalt like everybody else and just letting the pavers on the like? Because unless someone parks on the border every single day, what's happening to it that isn't happening to the asphalt? But what's funny is if there's a dip in the asphalt, no one's calling the asphalt people. But if there's a dip in the paver, we're all getting fucking called.
what you pay per like for the square footage of it, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh well, fuck it. I would only pay $4 a square foot for the asphalt, anyways. The pavers, I paid $35, $40 a square foot. They told me they're gonna give me a 3 to 5 year warranty.
I feel like though
9 years in the case of Chad.
Yeah, that's
discretion.
at my
No, that's discretion.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Could be 9 years, could be 9 minutes. Depends how far you made me go back to get your tree.
How long? Nice.
Mike, you usually feel awkward silence.
Me, I'm usually not the
Oh,
one
you're
to fill
about
awkward
to.
silence. All right, final question that came in, I guess, for the night here. Kind of following the theme that we've got going on. Most obvious red flag you've ever experienced on a call, or going to a consult. What is it? I'll kick things off here. I went to this was probably in my second year. I met husband and wife, and they said that they'd already met about 5 other companies, and I was the 6th one. So that was the immediate red flag. And as I kind of asked leading questions as to why I was the 6th, and this is throughout a year's worth of time that they've been calling 5 other companies and had them out. And they said that they never got back to them, or they just ghosted them and wouldn't give them a quote or anything. It turned out like immediately that they wanted a front walkway, entrance area, and a backyard done, everything brand new. But immediately when they're talking about the front entrance, they're saying, well, we're very particular. We want everything within the millimeter, symmetrical, because it really bugs us if it's not. So we'll be out here with tape measures. Just make sure that you're on point with your cuts and everything like that. So immediately that was multiple red flags within 5 minutes of meeting them.
So you did the job.
So, yeah.
That was probably a client I would sign, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Have you driven by the house? Like, has someone?
I haven't. I can't even remember where exactly it was. So I'd have to go back in my emails to find the address. It was too long ago.
We had a second consultation once. So the first consultation was with the husband. It was like a 10-acre property in the middle of Toronto that was probably worth like, I don't know, $30 million. And they wanted to restore it to 1912. And it was a hillside with like hobbit houses. And it was a very cool project. And we met the husband the first time. They had drawings. We came back. So I would say this was an immediate red flag because it was the first time I met this person. But within like 5 minutes of meeting the wife, she was incredibly mean and rude to Nancy. And immediately I was like, there's no fucking way we're doing this job. It's not like, I don't care if you offer us $5 million. I'm not doing this fucking job. You were mean to Nancy. That is the end of it. And after we left, I emailed the guy the same night and said, listen, man, like nothing personal. Your wife is like a fucking bitch. So, and she was mean to Nancy.
Nice. To say. Nice.
That's the truth, right? His wife's a fucking bitch and she was mean to Nancy. And so I was like, we're not going to be doing your job. I'm going to put your drawings in the mail because I don't even want to set foot on your property again. And we're going to mail you back the drawings. And then that started with a plethora of emails of the guy begging us to do his job and work on his property. And I was like, yeah, man, like that's not happening. Like, stop emailing me. There's no way you don't have enough money for me I will not tolerate people who are mean to the staff or to mean to anyone. If you're already being mean to the designer who's done nothing, how are you going to treat the people when they come to work on your property and it's inconvenience for you? Because everything we do inconveniences the people that you're working for. They can't park their car in their driveway. There's dust in their window. Fucking dust blew in their house and killed all their fish. Like, what? Not that that's ever happened. Like a year later, the guy was still emailing me.
So are they one of the follow-up clients from this year that you're trying to sign up?
Following up. Immediately following up with them to see if we can do their job. No, it's
nice.
Anyways, that's a story for me that was immediate red. If someone is not nice to you in the first meeting, the situation's not improving. That's my Caleb's Corner advice.
I had an email come across and the job looked like a decent job. And so I called the lady right away and she answers the phone and she goes, "What the fuck, Justin?" And I'm like, "Hello? She's like, "Justin." I'm like, "No, this is Nick at Earthworks Landscaping." She's like, oh, sorry about that. So she goes into the story like one of her employees was trying to text her a picture of something or something. I don't know, but she answered the phone that way, and I'm like, wow, that was weird that she would ever answer the phone like that. And then, so that was like kind of a red flag. I'm like, well, that was kind of intense for a second there. And then she goes into telling me all about the project, and she goes, well, we don't want to get screwed over though, because if you drive into our house, we've had other contractors work here, and we just feel like once they see the house that they jack the price up like immediately. They see our cars and our house and our pool and everything, and they just jack the price up. We don't want you to do that. And I'm just thinking, well, all right, that's probably what I'm going to do when I see your house and when I see your car. Like, so it was just, but then I did go and meet with her and followed through, and I'm in the process of putting a proposal together. So we'll see if I'm
You're in the
too
process of
expensive
jacking
for
up the
her.
price.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll give her the what the fuck Justin price.
Uh,
John, red flags. Jordan bailed.
I mean, the go-to, we've had 3, 4, 5 contractors here, and you're like, all right, what am I going to say that's going to make a difference? But my biggest one is I pay my bills. The customer ever says I pay my bills. People who say I pay my bills don't pay their bills.
Don't pay their bills.
Yeah,
I mean,
checks in the mail.
I've never met anybody who I don't know. I pay my bills. It's just a weird thing to say. So if you say that, I'm not interested.
It's like if your company's name is like, what's something that came to mind? I've seen company names like Frugal Landscaping, but
Oh yeah.
or if you have a tagline of your company that like we do. Oh, now it's totally skipping out on me. But
Good work, cheap work, good.
yeah, stuff like that, right? That always sticks out to me as a bad tagline or company name.
I saw a good one the other day, unrelated, but it was like family something or other, family tree care or something like that. Like when your family can't do it, we can. That was their tagline. I'm like, that's great. I like that.
When your lazy Slavic family can't help you, call us. We will come and help you with your tree care.
We'll
Your
give
guy
family-
blows you
family
off.
rates.
Call us.
When your dad blows you up.
Something like that. Yeah. Your family can't help, we can. Okay.
What's your red flag, Jordan?
Trust ours.
Oh fuck! I fell for so many. I can't even fucking think of them all. Basically, everything you guys said. Like multiple people quote it. Say they have designs. Like quote this other person's design, and then I basically redo the design. And yeah, I fell for it all. I can't even honestly for hours talking about all the stupid decisions I've made, quoting dumb projects that I knew were never going to go through. So
people who
that was
have like a catalog with the price of the pavers written down from the supplier.
Oh gosh,
those are people that I feel like I don't want to communicate with anymore, because I'm like, you've now put the value of the laid paver at $5.65 in your own mind.
yeah. See, I'm the stupid one. Like when people seem super educated or say they met so many other people, I'm like, all right, well, I can blow you out of the water. I can beat that contractor's customer experience. Let me work super, super hard to show you that I will provide a better customer experience. And then you come in, double the cost or whatever, and you just never get the job, right? Yeah, I've done that so many times.
Another favorite is I'll supply the material. That's run away quick.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
If
100%.
if someone says that to me, the first thing I say to them is to say, okay, I have no problem with that, but every second that we stand around because you're a layer short, you get billed for it.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you're not going to order enough of anything. Or you're gonna if we need a yard of HPB at the end, I'll call you and be like, hey, we need a yard of HPB, and there's 6 people waiting.
Yeah, the clock starts now.
The clock starts now. It just,
It is
I agree though. I'm just joking. Like I wouldn't work by the hour on people's rental properties when they supply the material. It's not a great thing for me. Actually, it worked out fine, but
That
it
was
just,
you heard that from a friend of yours,
I
right?
heard it from a friend. Heard it from a friend but it's, yeah, anything to do with material is a red flag, I think. We don't even, like, I used to spend a lot of time on material selection, like a lot of time. And now I just send the material in the quote,
Yeah,
a single material with a single link.
yeah.
Yep.
I do the same thing, but then you end up at the supplier and to show them that material because I'm not signing a contract until we've seen that material in person, right? So then you show up there, and then it's like, oh well, like again, it takes. I used to be bad to be like, oh well, there's this option that saves you 75 cents a square foot. There's this option that saves you $1.25 a square foot, but you move away from that. But I mean, you've been doing it long enough, Mike. It's just take it or leave it, right?
Well, it's not going great. So might have to adopt a different method because I'm not crushing this method. No, we, I can probably speak to the fact that one thing that people don't take advantage of enough is that a lot of reps, not all of them, some of them will drop off pavers at your clients' houses.
Oh,
I know it was something that I used to do as a rep.
Yeah.
People would text me and be like, "Hey, can you drop off this sample at the house?" And I would go drop it off to try and get the job.
Yeah, but nowadays you'd have to have the supply, like the rep would have to have that paver there within like an hour and a half, or you've lost the job to someone else.
This year, I agree with you. We Kelly goes and gets samples and drops them off at people's houses just to keep them out. Like honestly, just to keep them out of the supply yard.
Yeah. Okay.
Because then, then the samples are there, and then most people will. If you pick colors that are popular, like gray, most people will just be like, "Yeah, okay," like it's not as. And if someone said no, then I would say, "Okay, let's meet at supply yard."
Yeah.
I'm not going to endlessly drive samples back and forth.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do it
supply
anyways.
yard and tell them to park in the parking lot, and I'll go out back and get you samples, and I'll put them in your trunk for you. Take them back to your house and let me know what you want to do.
And hopefully they're hiring you as the professional, so maybe they can trust you to pick out something that will work for their project.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're spending, a six-figure job or whatever, right? Like, the client's gonna want us. Like, I'm not signing a contract with someone if they haven't seen the paper in person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
No, I just mean like I could never imagine doing that. Signing a massive project and the client has only seen it in the catalog and on the website.
Yeah, this hadn't actually happened to me in a long time, and then it happened in a project that I was recently bidding, and someone had picked out all their own materials, and they wanted some wall in some certain size. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I bet this wall comes in a set. And it's like, I want the C block for the entire wall. And I'm like, this wall comes in a set. You have to buy 3 blocks. Well, I only want C block. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to literally throw away whole skids of material. Like I'm going to throw it away.
You can sell those to people in the boneyard.
Yeah. Here, we have the A and B block. Come and get it. Come and get it. There was one of the, I don't know, you guys would probably call them bell guard, but there was those cages that you make columns out of.
Yeah.
The bell guard ones. And when you make those cages, there's one size that doesn't work on the cage of the facing stones. And you end up with like all of them there. I think it's only if you're using the 180s, not the 90s. I can't remember exactly the scenario, but somehow I quoted it, and there was a bunch of those columns, like 14 of those columns on this job, and we ended up with like 3.5 skids of one size of these things because there's no way to work them in, and then I had to buy 3 more skids to make up the difference. Or it's just crazily frustrating at the time, but now when
that whole system is crazily frustrating. That's the stupidest thing. Oh
I like those columns. They go up really quick, man.
no, the whole veneer system thing. That's what burned my arse. I
Well,
just can't.
some of us that are skilled, might have had a little bit of training. I know a lot about that system from 18 months of their life being really fucking involved with it. I mean, we did those columns a lot because they did go up pretty fast. People like them, and then the problem is you just have to fill them really slow.
Yeah,
I love that system. Just not the cages, but just that specific system you're talking about. But for other reasons, I don't use that system.
any veneer wall, I'll tell them no.
I actually just recently
choose someone else.
Yeah, I recently quoted for like the first time all season a wall that wasn't two-piece.
That's
like right to the labor. I was like, this is gonna fly together. This is awesome.
Yeah.
There's no grinding any grooves or lining up or shimming and gluing it to make all the lines line up. Like
they used to make that wall in a two-piece, but it instead of a solid block in between, it was like a plastic clip, and then you would have to fight to get the clips in. That was a nightmare too. What can you tell me about that, Mike? Why'd they get rid of that?
I don't know. Did they get rid of it when I worked there?
I don't know. I figured you went to 18 months of this.
I did.
You would know why they got rid of this shitty fucking tandem veneer system that's held together by a plastic clip.
That system's awesome. I like that system.
No way.
I didn't mind because the blocks are light.
Yeah.
And I'm old and weak and fat.
You can do so much with them. I don't know. I like those ones. I like that one. I like that system.
I try to roll with any kind of tumbled 8x12 by 4-inch high block now.
Castle block.
Well, anything like that, because I feel like I used to do a lot of like crazy projects, and now I try to simplify the projects to make as few complaints as possible. Or potential complaints. And when you use those pre-tumbled blocks, people aren't bitching about them being chipped. Or they don't have to be perfect because you don't see every fucking line. And so I've really become maybe more about like, how can we get through this with everyone just liking it? Instead of, how can we use some new product no one's ever heard of and vaporize 40 extra hours of labor?
Tumble pavers are awesome. I wish they never created smooth pavers.
I've quoted like 10 jobs this year in tumbled pavers.
How come I just quoted this morning? Get going.
Yep.
I don't even care.
That one I just quoted because we had to take them from the front yard to the backyard through that tiny opening in the buggy. I was like, you know what? These ones are going tumbled, baby. Because I was like, now we can just huff these things in the buggy. We don't have to worry about sliding some sheets of plastic between them or them being huge and breaking, or we can just roll on, baby, with tumbled shit. No, that's but they're not even tumbled anymore.
You didn't call me. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think they're even tumbled anymore.
Yeah. Well, they don't make the tumbled one?
I think they're not tumbled now. Maybe they are.
Great. I got 2 pallets of tumbled shit at the yard that I'll never be able to put in a job because they won't match the new shit that we've got.
I was using it as banding, a little border.
Yeah, I suppose. Probably use it as fill.
Is it
fill in a low spot at the yard?
Try to use it. I'm sure it's better off just making a parking lot extension.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll probably use it as fill, baby. That's what I'm gonna do with this.
I've probably got 5,000 square feet of brick that's just buried under asphalt regrinds as a base for parking at the yard.
That's real common.
How does it work?
Great. Nothing comes up. Like
there we go.
Yeah, it's nice and strong. Nothing sinks there, so
nice. It's good binder.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is that not? Are we at? Is that our second last hour, Mike?
That's it.
So is this the end of the podcast?
I think this is it.
Well, okay. So here, there's this is a constant debate, and you guys are guests, so you can answer. This is a serious question. Should we have music at the start and end of the podcast like everybody else in the industry?
No, keep it
It's
original.
everybody else's, so I would say no.
No.
Keep it original. You never have. It's original.
All right. Well, I see. I
I
thought
fast
that the
forward 30 seconds. I hit that 3 times at the beginning of every podcast.
it's better not do it here. Sometimes you
Mhm.
miss the only good part of it.
I was a minute and a half late, so I don't know. Maybe it'll work out in my favor.
No music is the vote.
That's my vote.
I felt like we just need the music, but maybe we don't. People have spoken.
I think we should just play Chad's poem at the beginning and end of every episode.
That
What
poem
the-
is great, but it is pretty long. I listened to every episode. I don't know if I listened to the start and end of every episode now.
It is great,
Poem
but it is long.
The poem is
Maybe we
awesome.
should do it on our Christmas episodes.
It should play once a year.
Maybe I'll write a new poem
That would be
You're an
good.
English major.
or a second verse or something.
You are an English major.
23.
I'll do one. Maybe I'll do one a year.
You should perform it with the guitar.
This-
Perform it.
This
At
poem should be about
Congress.
the-
I think you should perform it at Congress, walking up and down the aisles,
Yes.
Like a
but not like tell anyone that you're going to be doing that. Just show up with a guitar and start walking up and down the aisles.
This
I
poem
think-
should be about the not your finest hour.
How much is a small booth at Congress? I feel like we should have a Not Our Finest Hour booth this year at Congress.
We could do that this year. Are we going to H&A? Are you guys going to H&A, Jordan, John?
Oh yeah, we
Yeah,
go.
Is it H&A in like October?
Yeah.
It's like one of the busiest times of the year. Especially for someone that's an idiot does snow removal.
So do
Say
you go every?
Thursday, Friday. We just park the camper down there and have a good time.
Nice.
How far away is it
Sounds
for you?
awesome.
5 hours.
But in America, that's nothing.
Nah.
Do you camp out at the actual convention?
Yeah, I got because I would play the game like, oh, it depends on what job we're on, this or that, blah blah blah, and then I'd be pissed off that you'd have to book 2 nights at a $400 hotel because everything surges. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I got a nice 32-foot toy hauler. I'm just gonna tow it down there. If I go, I go. If I don't, I don't. And then that grabbed some traction, and now a lot of guys are doing it and
Nice.
kind of skip 4th Street Live and just party in the parking lot.
So, but you're right outside of the convention, right? You just walk to it?
Wake up, walk in.
Nice.
So like I could bring my tool trailer down this year. My tool trailer.
I probably empty the tools out of it, but yeah.
I don't know how that is.
Or somebody else
That's
will. I don't know.
That's a good point.
Oh, I got a laneway down the middle. I can put a
We
single
could
one.
rent a camper trailer.
That would be cool.
How far is it for us to drive?
10 hours.
10 hours? That's not bad. Because there's a Wasco by us rents camper trailers.
Oh, yeah.
we could rent
Also
one and all
good
go down
campers.
together.
We can rent one and all go. Well, someone else will have to tow it because Paisley's made it clear that my truck is only an Ontario vehicle. So someone else will have to tow it. But yeah, we could rent the trailer and then just go down there and camp out in the parking lot. That would be fucking sick.
You'd best off just calling a local company and have them drop it off
Yeah, I think so.
That would be an idea.
rather than drag that thing 20 hours. If you don't
Yeah.
know,
I don't know if you could take it to America too. If we rent it, could we?
Yeah, that's what
Get a
they
good
do.
budget?
I assume. Well, they rent.
walk the
You're
dogs around
saying
a couple times. We could
There's like
probably,
there's a local company that will just bring a trailer and drop it off in the parking lot.
oh yeah, they're all over the place. Like when we go camping, people want to come with us. They're like, we don't have a camper. Be like, oh yeah, call this place. They're next to the campground that we go to, or call this one. And it's kind of like Airbnb for campers. You can either rent them or you can just
Wow.
have the local person will go drive up to like 60 minutes to drop it off at a campsite of your choice. So the idea is just to get somebody as close as possible to the campsite of your choice. But yeah, rvshare.com, outdoorsy.com, they have all those.
That's
Yeah,
the
I didn't
land of
know-
the free.
I did not know that this world existed. I'm super interested in this. This is
Yeah,
awesome.
a couple $100 a night plus wherever you stay. So if it's like a state park, it might be what, $50. But
What do they charge you the convention center parking lot?
75, I think, a night.
Really? Wow.
I didn't even know
I
that.
thought you were going to say nothing.
I'm
I think it
surprised
used
they
to be
charge.
cheaper. Now
Yeah,
they
but
charge sales tax. I don't know why, but
75 American is like 300 $90 Canadian.
That's a good that's a good hotel in Canada.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
I'd
not a
be-
thing in Canada that I know of.
No,
No,
you can.
I didn't know you could RV share.
Well, all your forests are on fire. They're blowing the smoke, the shit down here. So
Nice.
Maybe that's why there's a lot of campers.
like we're not going to the woods. We're trying to get escape.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
there's
way
a
more
Walmart parking
interested.
lot.
I'm way more interested in going to this if we can rent a camper and sleep in a parking lot for $75 a night.
There you
Because
go.
that
What's the
interests
camper?
me. Well, just the fact that you're paying $75 to be in a parking lot, I think is amazing. Like,
You get hooked
is there
up.
better? They have full hookups in the parking lot?
Yeah, it's a convention center. So yeah,
Okay, they don't have that
They
at
don't
convention
have that
centers
in-
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a 30 amp or 50 amp, whatever you want, and then there's water, and then there's also waste. Or if you don't get one of the premium spots, you can always they have a dumping station there. So
Okay, I love this place.
whatever.
No, it's awesome. This is great. Like we don't,
You know, if you-
we don't have any of this stuff. Like seriously,
No.
we're like, I feel like we're back to living in igloos when you hear about this kind of shit.
Those are campsites.
Well, I mean, it all depends on what you
The
bring.
water
Bring a
hookups.
pop up, or you could
Sewage.
mine's got ladyboys in it. It's pretty comfy. So, I mean, I'd rather sleep in
My
that.
parents are campers. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can spend $250,000 on a camper if you want. I mean, 500.
Oh,
What is
yeah,
that? Half a
I
million
know
Canadian.
800,000 Canadian. No, I just didn't know that there was such like this whole rental thing and staying in a parking lot, and it makes
Yeah, I mean,
sense.
it's not ideal. I mean, I don't go camping in parking lots any other time of the year, but I mean,
No, but it makes a lot of sense for a convention center to have that set up. That's smart. They just
yeah,
don't have that
especially
in
for the
Canada.
vendors. You'll see a lot of vendors over there because they got to be there a week early to set everything up. So
Yeah.
they'll just get like a, I don't know, 53-foot keystone or something, and then they'll put 8 guys in there that are running the show all weekend and now they just meander back to the parking lot versus Uber into a hotel 20 minutes away or shuttle bus in or.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. We should do this. I like it. We have the Not Our Finest Hour camper.
Sponsored.
Yeah.
Sponsor.
Oh, you
Well,
guys?
in order to sponsor it, we would need we'd literally be sponsored right out of our own pocket. Like,
Nice.
it's like get that fat excavator lease money in. Sponsor.
Be a tilt rotator for a stone line.
Fellas, looks like all my kids are home, so
All
All right,
right,
guys.
telling you.
that's the key.
Thanks,
Nice
John.
to have you on, John. Thank you. Nick disappeared. Fuck you, Nick. Just joking. Thanks for being on, Nick. We appreciate it. All right, this is the end of the podcast. Bye.
Jordan, thanks for joining us too.
Cheers,
Thanks for
guys.
being on, Jordan.
Everyone.
Appreciate it.